What is up, Sports Keys? It's your host, Josh, here back with the first NFL mock draft for 2025, joined by Alec. As always, Alec, I think we can both agree this is maybe our most enjoyable time of the year mock drafting here for the NFL draft. This is official. This is the official top 18 now that we have. Everything else we'll sort out, but we do have the official first 18 picks here of the draft. So we'll get right into it real quick. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We have weekly mock draft Mondays. This one got delayed to Tuesday. Weekly mock draft Mondays every single Monday coming out soon, or coming out to weekly. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and we'll have these weekly content out here for you. We also have a playoff picture coming for soon for the NFL. So make sure to check that one out as well if you like that. Other than that, though, we are going to hop right into this. So we are going to alternate pick here. No trades yet today. Mr. Alec, would you like the first or the evens or the odds here?
I'm gonna go evens here. So I want you to be forced to have the first pick.
Okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that because I'm gonna make this quick here. I'm gonna go Cam Ward. I think okay, so now we can actually start to dive into this. I think this quarterback class is just beyond weak. There were 5 quarterbacks last year taken that are franchise quarterbacks, in my opinion. All 3 of the first 3, and then you have Bo Nix and Michael Penix to be determined on JJ McCarthy. But you have 5 franchise quarterbacks. I don't think Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders would have been taken above any of those 5 or JJ McCarthy. I think that there were 6 quarterbacks last year that would be the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. However, I do think the first 2 picks, both teams are really quarterback needy, and you can't just wait. You can't say, oh, there's not good ones, we're going to wait, because you're not going to have the first overall pick probably next year. So
yeah,
I've seen a lot of things. I think Shedeur Sanders is the better quarterback. I've seen a lot of things that the Titans love Cam Ward and his improvisation skills. So I'm going to go Cam Ward here. It's what I think will happen. It's not what I would do.
Yeah. And then so second pick here, I agree with everything what you just said. Assuming that Dion lets Shedeur go to Cleveland, which I could definitely see him not. But for the sake of this, no trades, nothing. If there were trades, I'm just going to say this right now. If we're going to eventually get trades, somebody could trade up here. And it could be the Giants.
Yeah.
But no, I really like Shedeur Sanders. I think he could be pretty good. So I'm going to have Cleveland take him here
I think so. I would agree. I also think it's a possibility for somebody to trade up for Travis Hunter, because that's who I'm going here at 3. And I'm going Travis Hunter. I think he's my number 1 player on the board this year. I think he's the number 1 player for most people. He's probably, I don't know what he's going to play. He says he's going to play both. I don't think he's going to play both. He certainly won't play both consistently, but to have the ability to play both is very valuable, right? If you're really beat up at corner, you can have him play corner this game and wide receiver the next game, right? It's just the ability to do that is really, really valuable. And he's an elite prospect at either one. So for the young kid's body, there's no way that he can go play 90% of snaps in a game. He's in elite shape, but you can't do that in the NFL. No. But Travis Hunter is an absolutely spectacular prospect, and to get him at 3rd overall because of just the necessary reaches, I think, on quarterback that are going to go at 1 and 2 is a great deal for the Giants, even if you really wanted a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love that. And then so at 4 here for the Patriots, it's really going to depend on the head coach, I think, who they hire. We think it's going to be Mike Vrabel. We're kind of really early in the process. So we don't, playoff football hasn't even started yet. So we don't really know who's going to get hired, who's not. I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here and say, I think the Patriots want to protect Drake May instead of get a weapon for him. So I'm going to go Will Campbell here.
Okay. Yeah,
so I've seen a lot of Ted McMillan. I've seen a lot of McMillan, but I think they might try to protect him before they truly add that like ex Drake London type receiver.
Yeah, well, I think another thing that you can find, the Patriots have, I think, the most cap space in the entire NFL. So you can find players like a T. Higgins, not to bring it up to a Bengals fan, you can find a T. Higgins that you can pay a lot of money that has proven themselves in the NFL, and that's what you're getting. And then maybe build your trenches from the draft. I think that's something that I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots do here. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if T-Mac ends up being a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Now coming to me here at 5, this one's a fairly easy one for me, and I'm going a corner. I'm going Will Johnson. And if you take away, I mean, right, he's got the toe injury. that's held him out for most of the year. I would have loved to see a Will Johnson, Jeremiah Smith matchup. That would have been absolutely it would have been massive for Will Johnson's draft stock, right? And we would have gotten to see Jeremiah Smith against a top 5 pick corner. But I think that what Will Johnson has is an absolutely spectacular coverage ability in both zone and in man. And that if Travis Hunter did not play wide receiver, Will Johnson is neck and neck with him. And I think
Yeah.
that maybe even is a better prospect than Travis Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Travis Hunter can play wide receiver, which catapults him above Will Johnson. But Will Johnson's coverage abilities at corner, it should not be undermined at all. To get him at the 5th overall pick, it will be interesting to see what he does at the combine and what he runs. But I think Will Johnson's going to be a great NFL cover corner.
Okay, so for the Raiders pick here, I think they have a lot of team needs. I think they have more team needs than just the 3 that are listed right here. I think they really could just take best player available.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to sound crazy. It really is, but I'm going to go T-Mac here.
No, I don't think that's crazy. I think that's an understandable. I mean, you can't have Jacoby Myers as your wide receiver 1 and expect to legitimately win games. He's a fine wide receiver 2. Brock Bowers is great, but you can't solve the quarterback problem at 6. And how do you get around making your offense better without making your quarterback or without reaching on a quarterback is you give him weapons. So I like T-Mac there. Over to me at 7 here. I'm going to stick with Michigan here, and I'm going to go Mason Graham. Mason Graham is a complete prospect. He shuts down the run, and he can really, really, really get after the passer. What we saw him do against this, I mean, it was a beat up off Ohio State offensive line, but what we saw him do in that game, he was so disruptive in that game. I love Mason Graham as a prospect. I think the Jets have a ton of team needs as well, and getting Mason Graham, who is a great piece to help your defense. And I think that for the Jets to win games next year, your offense is going to be shaky depending on what happens. Your defense can win you games, and I think that that's how you can bolster your defensive line and really maybe emphasize that a little bit more.
Yeah, him and Quinnen Williams would be unbelievable together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think this next pick, I think this is pretty much like the biggest chalk that I've seen every mock draft. Like, doesn't matter if they were picking 6th or 8th. As it's progressed, Abdul Carter here to the Panthers just makes the most sense. They need edge rushers. Jadeveon Clowney's over 30 years old now. He was just that 1-year rental guy. So they need a good edge rusher. Abdul Carter's unbelievable, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I actually watched some of his film this past week. He's really scarily good. And there's a lot of articles I read from people I trust. Some people say that he's better than what Micah Parsons was like at the end of his Penn State career. And that's a big statement. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the ceiling for Abdul Carter is pretty high.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you get with Abdul Carter is you have 2 more college games to really absolutely go off, possibly 2 more college games, I should say. If he comes out against Notre Dame's offensive line and just destroys them and shuts down Notre Dame's running game and it gets after Riley Leonard, sacks him twice, he could elevate himself in this draft a lot. I think I already have him as my number 2 player. I have Travis Hunter as my 1 and Abdul Carter is my 2. And I just think that the fit here has to be correct. And like Jacksonville's picking at 5. That's a team with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen. I don't think they're going to go edge, right? But man, Abdul Carter is a stud. I wouldn't be surprised if he's available at 7 or 8 if we see a team jumping up there to go get him because
he's that good. I could even see him going, like, it depends on who the coach is, like who these people hire, right? Like say Vrabel or somebody gets that Patriots job. Like, why couldn't he go to New England? I mean, I think his ceiling's probably like 4, 5-ish if somebody would trade up. If you could get him at 8, that's a great value.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Somebody else who I think is great value here at 9 for the Saints is going to be Micah Williams. Micah Williams was hyped up to be a top 3 pick earlier in the year, and has dealt with an ankle injury, came back from that. But we know how dominant he can be, both shutting down the run game, both in getting after the passer. Micah Williams is going to be a stud in the NFL, and getting him at 9 here, I think, is great value for the Saints, who need
Yep.
defensive line help everywhere, right? Cam Jordan, you can't rely on him. He's getting old. And Brian Brzee, maybe he's going to take a step up. You'd like to think he would, right?
Yeah.
Coming out of Clemson, his first round pick used on him, 2 years ago. But I think that Micah Williams is going to be a great player in the NFL, and getting him at 9, I think, is great value for the Saints here.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love that pick. I love that pick. And I think, height, weight, speed guys, you have a better chance of them hitting. So,
Yeah.
and he's going to be.
Yeah, in my last comment about Michael Williams, he reminds me a little bit of Trayvon Walker, and somebody
Yep.
that, as they go through the combine, as they go through the pro day, is going to steadily rise up the boards, because you can say, oh, you're going to watch film over, you're going to take film over a pro day. Yes. But when Michael Williams absolutely goes off at his pro day and runs a 4.55 or something, and looks spectacular in drills, then you're going to be really, really impressed with him, and he's going to slowly start to move up. The hype's going to be there. So I wouldn't be surprised here. We have him at 9. I wouldn't be surprised if in late March, early April, when we do these, he's cracking the top 5.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially when he runs that. Once that number says 4.39 or 4.44, or it's the low 4.4s. I'm not saying he's going to run a 4.39, but
Yeah.
it's probably within the realm of possibility. And that's crazy to say, but yeah, that pro day and that combine is going to be great for him.
Yes. No, completely agreed. Over to you here for the 10th.
Okay, so as a Caleb Williams dynasty holder here, I'm really excited for the Bears in this position. I think Caleb gets a lot of hate. I thought he played pretty well this year due to the O-line just being an atrocity, and just the coaching might have been the worst in the NFL. So I'm going to go Kelvin Banks here, the tackle from Texas. This is a slam dunk pick for them. They need tackle. They need O-line help. He comes in, could start right away. I just think that's a slam dunk.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see with this entire class. There's really not true offensive tackles, in my opinion, outside of Josh Simmons. I think that everybody else is a tackle that could play guard. And the good thing here for the Bears is that, and also for the Patriots, who you had Will Campbell going to earlier, both of them need tackle and guard. So you're drafting a great offensive lineman that's going to be a starter for you at one position or the other. So I'd love to pick there. I think if either Banks or Campbell is there at 10, that's who the Bears are going to go with. I think that's a I don't want to say easy pick, but a fairly easy pick there.
And
so,
I also think, on top of that, real quick, guards are getting paid $18 million free agency now. So taking a guard this high for positional value, the NFL is telling us that guards are pretty high up on positional value. So taking a guard tackle at 10, isn't that crazy?
Right. No. Yeah. No, I'm with you. So I'm going to go Malachi Starks here at 11. And so I'm going to stick with the Georgia boys here. I went back-to-back Michigan. Now I'm going back-to-back Georgia. I think that Malachi Starks is a spectacular player. He is I don't want to compare him to Caleb Downs, because I think Caleb Downs is better as a safety than Malachi Starks is. Malachi Starks is very close as a prospect. And so I think that Malachi Starks, the safety position is not valued. It's kind of like the running back, right, position in previous years, where it's just not valued. But the talent that you're getting out of Malachi Starks here is unreal. He is beyond instinctive. He will get downhill and shut the run game down. He is instinctive in the pass game. I fully expect wherever he goes, he will be an all-pro, a Pro Bowler type dude within his first 3 years in the league. He is a great, great player. But the reason he's down to all the way at 11 is because he plays safety and doesn't play a premium position, but still getting somebody this good at their position, this instinctive on your defense at 11 is going to be great for the 49ers, who are, I think, just taking best player available here.
Yeah, no, I think so too. They're not going to be drafting this high again. So I think they're going to make most of their 11th pick in every round. So this is also a team that hasn't really had a high pick in a while. Usually either trade their first, or it's the back end of the first. So it's going to be interesting what they do here, because we don't really have a lot of historical data to go off of, other than the Trey Lance thing. But that was an atrocity to begin with. But so I'm not going who you think I'm going with here. This is why I wanted the evens this time, not the odds. I don't think the Cowboys are going to go Genty in the first round here.
Okay.
Every chance they've had to go running back in the past, they just haven't. They've kind of punted on the position. I think Rico Dowdle's actually pretty good. I just don't think they're going to do the 12th pick. I'm going to go Luther Burden the third here. Somebody to pair up with CD. Their receivers are an atrocity behind CD Lamb. Luther Burden has the body type. He's over 5'10 and a half. He's over 200 pounds. He's going to run, the right 40 time. His vert's going to check out. His broad jump's going to check out for like that threshold to actually be an elite NFL receiver. I think Luther Burden could be a great pairing with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I think it's just too much to pass up after his combine and everything.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think they go Genty here. But I think they take an offensive weapon either way. But I think they go Genty here. If they don't go Genty, which Dowdle did look good, right? He's not on contract for next year, so I think we will know if they are going.
I think so
Genty.
too. I think at that point it's a little too early. I totally agree with you.
Right. If Rico Dowdle is not back on contract, you are drafting Ashton Genty one way or another. But if he is on contract, then I think it maybe makes it a little bit more of a gray area. But I think if like we said, we're not doing trades today. If Ashton Genty is available here at 13, you have Devon Achane, you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Bijan Robinson in the next 3 picks.
And James Conner.
And James Conner. And I fully believe somebody down here will trade up for it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Broncos because they really don't have a true RB1. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Steelers to come up and take one because I don't think Najee or Jalen Warren's really dominating that job. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Texans that hop up here. I would expect somebody down here to move up for Ashton Genty, but I don't think they're going to be willing to give up an absolutely insane amount because this running back class. First time we've talked about it yet today, actually. This running back class is so deep. I fully believe that there are probably 30 plus draftable running backs in this class.
Yeah, no, the running back class is unbelievable. That's kind of the reasoning why I didn't have the Cowboys taking Genty at 12, just because you can get Judkins in the second. You can maybe get Omarion Hampton in the second. I think Cam Scattergo's a little high right now. I'm not going to lie.
I would agree.
But like Caleb Johnson, you can get him in the second or third. Travion Henderson. I mean, dude, keep scrolling just for a second. Unbelievable. I love DJ Giddens too. Nick Singleton is that far down the list. That's when you know it's a crazy class.
Kyle Monangai. I love Kyle Monangai. I think Jordan James.
Ollie Gordon being that low might be criminal. But even Jordan James is great. Like Jordan James is kind of like the last year's Bucky Irvin. I know it's the Oregon connection. Woody Marks is pretty good too. This is a great running back class.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. I like Ollie Gordon a lot. I think he had just a terrible, terrible team this year in general.
Alan Bowman was born in 1999, and he was still playing in college football this year. So was and this is a fun fact. I looked it up. It was the Michigan quarterback Jack Tuttle. He was born in May of 1999, and he started a college football game this year. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I was at the game that he started as well.
He was 25 and a half. But anyway, so who are you going with 13?
13 is a tough spot for me because I'm debating between these two guys right here, Jalen Walker and Josh Simmons. And Jalen Walker, I think, probably is the best player available. But given right now, I think Josh Simmons, if you're telling me both players are going to be healthy, Josh Simmons, 1, would not be on the board right now, and 2, it would be a clear pick. I'm going to go Josh Simmons here because I think it's a little bit more of a need. Josh Simmons is a true offensive tackle, in my opinion. We'll see what his arms come in at for length. But I think that Josh Simmons, he's dealing with this leg injury. I think his agent is Drew Rosenhaus, I believe. And he's saying that he's going to be healthy for camp. We'll see if that's really true or not, right? I think they said Jonathan Brooks was going to be healthy for camp this year too, and he didn't play until week 11. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Josh Simmons. But either way, Josh Simmons a year from now will be certainly an easily starting as an offensive tackle in the
Yep.
in the NFL. He is if he was healthy, if you assumed everybody in this draft was healthy, Josh Simmons would not make it to pick 10. He would be the first offensive lineman off the board, probably a top 6 overall pick. To me, reminds me of like a JC Latham.
Yep.
I think he's
Yeah.
a great offensive tackle. He's
Yeah.
very, very clinical, and he's not an overwhelmingly large person like an Amarius Mims, but he's somebody that's they have great technique. They're not going to get beat all that often, and they can truly just shut down a side. So I like Josh Simmons a ton.
Yeah.
But he is dealing with that leg injury, which is going to cause him to drop a little bit. Curious to see what the medical happens. I don't know how much of a medical you can do, but I'm just interested to see how far he falls. If he falls, he might end up going to 7 or something.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. I'm going to go this pick pretty quick here. Colts always go for like combine freaks. I'm going to go James Pierce Jr. I think he's going to be a freak. I think this is his ceiling. I think he's going to really shoot up drafts once the combine hits. I really do. Earlier, like in the season, he was projected like a top 5 pick. I really think he's going to ball out.
Yeah,
like,
no, James.
I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, he's somebody whose raw athletic score will be in the 9s easily. You're right. If you look at those come March or April. So no, I like James Pierce Jr. I would agree that's probably his ceiling, but somebody's going to really, really love him.
Yep.
Probably the Colts, who are just raw athletic score, just nuts.
Freaks.
Yeah, they love it. But I'm gonna make this pick here a little bit quick here too. We'll start moving through these a little bit quicker. Jalen Walker here for I'm going Georgia again. Is that 3 picks in a row? Oh wait, no, I had one in between.
Yeah.
So Jalen Walker here, I think he's a weird hybrid linebacker. He can play on the ball, he can play off the ball. And I think it just helps this Falcons team a lot, right? You have this Raheem Morris, this 3-4 defense. He can play on the ball if he really needed to. But he's going to be a really, really good outside linebacker off the ball there. And so I really, really like Jalen Walker here. I think his versatility can fit what Raheem Morris is looking to do here in Atlanta, and he stays in Georgia here.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. The Georgia boys, I mean, their first round talent the last couple of years, even though just their draft talent, has been unreal. Like if you think about it, it's just been unbelievable. But so I'm going to go kind of a guy who's slipped a little bit further than what I really think is going to happen. I don't think Scourton really falls this far from Texas A&M. Like I don't think that he falls this far in the real NFL draft. Really just depends on the combine score, but no, I really like this pick for Arizona. They just seem to get better on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do. I like that pick there. This is an interesting spot for me with your Bengals on the clock here because this is one where kind of like with the Cowboys and Ashton Genty and the Rico Dowdle contract situation, we're gonna know if they're going wide receiver before the draft because I'm assuming Jamar Chase is going to get extended. Is T. Higgins going to get extended? If T. Higgins does not get extended, I would fully expect them to go with Egbuka here. If he does get extended, I would expect them to not go wide receiver. And I am going to go with somebody here who's a little bit further down here, but I love him. I love Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan is a stud. He, depending on what sources you use, was the #1 overall recruit over Travis Hunter out of high school. So take that into account. He can absolutely dominate snaps. And if you watch his highlight tape, the best of the best clips. If you watch the best of the best of all, give me 3 clips from every draft prospect. Yeah. Walter Nolan is probably a top 5 highlight mix there.
Yeah.
Because he is so dominant. Now, can you channel that consistently? That's where I think he's falling. But man, Walter Nolan's ability at the defensive interior spot, which is this very deep draft for the defensive tackles here as well. But I love Walter Nolan here as well.
Unbelievable. So I'm going to go over some PFF stats from Walter Nolan. I was waiting for you to pick him, or I was going to pick him probably with the next couple picks. So this season he had 25 hurries. So he's 20. He just turned 21. So in his 19 and 20-year-old season, he had 7 sacks in the SEC. This year he had 6, but he tripled his hurries, and he played majority of his snaps in the B gap or over the tackle, so a little bit wider. He's not just playing nose guard. He's unbelievable. He is a freak athlete. He's only 21.2 years old. He's a freak.
Yes. Yeah, he's somebody that at the end Like you're almost like if he makes it to the end of the first round, somebody's going to trade up and get him, so they have the fifth
Yeah,
year option on him because
he's unbelievable.
by the time he's 26, he's going to be an all pro guy.
Yep. It's kind of like I'm kind of more excited about him. Like, remember, like when Kalijah Cansey went in this range? Like, I
Yep.
think he's like more of just a complete player than Elijah Cansey. And Kalijah Cansey went what 13th, 14th, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think yeah.
So, or was it a little later?
I thought it was like 19th to the Bucks.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But I mean, still 17th. It's in the same range.
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay. So Seattle here. This is a little
Yep.
tough for me. I have no idea what they're going to do. They're firing everybody though. I kind of respect it from like a coaching staff perspective. Like they do not accept mediocrity, which from Bengals fan I'm used to. So, but I think they're going to go a tackle here. It's kind of tough. I don't know. Like I'm not an NFL scout. Like I don't know which ones they're going to pick. I think they're going to go Cameron Williams here though, and I'll tell you why. He's the youngest, and I think he has the most potential out of all the group. So that's why I'm going to go here. That is strictly my only reason. I have not watched film on like the tackles yet. But that's like early mock draft. That's my only like kind of like reasoning.
Yeah. No, it'll come into play too. I think Jonas Savatnia I believe is how you say. I think he's somebody that could come into play as well. But I like Cameron Williams here. I think there's certainly a chance he gets in the first round, depending on how he looks at the combine, right? How he does out of medical, all those things can alter, especially offensive linemen, so much. I'm on the board here, or on the clock here at 19. I'm going to go Ashton Genty. I believe that they have Joe Mixon on contract for one more year.
Yeah.
And Joe Mixon's starting to get old. Ashton Genty, this is a perfect situation for him where you can play with a good quarterback that has good weapons, and you don't have to get 25 carries every single game in year one. You can have 12 to 16 carries and be really, really productive with those carries. I think this is just a great situation. And for the Texans, yes, you have needs, but there's nothing really that's just absolutely glaring to me, right?
Yep.
Guard is a need. Defensive tackle, there's certainly not edge. Defensive tackle is a need, but I don't think there's nothing glaring. And you just take BPA and you're getting a probably top, depending on whose rankings you look at, probably a top 7 or 8 player at for sure in Ashton Genty at pick 19.
Yeah, I mean he's unbelievable. If Genty falls in this spot for like a fantasy perspective, like that's a great dynasty landing spot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so for this pick, actually I can't see him because I already picked him. Like I'm following along. I'm gonna go Ibuka here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Ibuka here. Just it's either him, I think, or Tyler Warren if the board fell like this. But Ibuka with like Bo Nix and everybody in that offense, I think would be pretty sweet. And then you're just going Tyler Warren.
Right, and I'm going Tyler Warren. That's where I was hoping that he was available there for me, and to foreshadow a little bit, if the other tight end is still available at 25, I'm going to reunite him with his old coach.
Sweet. Okay, so Steelers here. Again, who really knows what they're going to do here? This is tough for me. I'm going to go like the Steeler way, and I feel like the Steeler way is either a interior defensive lineman or a tackle. But I'm going to go Kenneth Grant here from Michigan. Cam Hayward's getting a little older. I just think Kenneth Grant, sadly, as a Bengals fan, fits their team pretty well, and I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like that pick a lot. And I am going to go over. I like Kenneth Grant a lot. I'm curious to see what he does without having Mason Graham right next to him. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go here with the Rams. I'm going to go Jihad Campbell. I think he is certainly an off the ball linebacker. So good though. I love Jihad Campbell in this draft. Somebody is going to get a great linebacker here. And so getting him at 23, maybe the best linebacker in the draft, depending on, where Jalen Walker falls, right? Or where he plays at, if he ends up playing a little bit more edge, I don't know. But I really like Jihad Campbell a ton. He's somebody that could, to me, has like Azeez Al-Shaair upside. I think that's that would be my ceiling comp for Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, no, I love that. No, I absolutely love that. And then I'm not going the Michigan tight end, so you can have him for pick 25.
Lovely.
But I'm going to go Siobhan Ravel here.
Mhm.
I know he tore his ACL. He has the chance to be unbelievable. He's 6'3", he's long. Kind of gives me like Sauce Gardner vibes. He's just kind of more skinny. He's like 190, 195. Really doubt that. It says he's 193. He doesn't look 193 pounds, if we're just being
No.
honest. But if his medicals check out, he's going to go higher than 24. But I think this is kind of like, like kind of his floor.
Yeah. No, I think that the other thing with Siobhan Ravel is that I think that Quinyon Mitchell helps him a lot. Quinyon
Mhm.
Mitchell came from a
Yep.
program that did not play very many. Now, Quinyon Mitchell had a great Senior Bowl, right? Which Siobhan Ravel is not going to get. But the drafting a cornerback that has not played against elite college wide receivers is always a little bit concerning at some point. But I think that what Quinyon Mitchell is doing this year is going to give a little bit of recency bias and allow GMs to be a lot more comfortable drafting Siobhan Ravel with a first round pick here.
Yeah.
And then obviously I'm going
Yeah.
Colston Loveland, reuniting him with Harbaugh. I think between Loveland and Warren, they're both spectacular tight ends that's at a position that's just really not all that valued, especially after coming after a draft class where Brock Bowers fell. If Brock Bowers is going to fall, I would assume both of these guys are going to fall, but I don't think they fall much further than this.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either, because I think tight ends starting to be seen as a premium position in the NFL, and there's not a lot of good tight ends. So yeah, the Brock Bowers thing really helped these guys out this year for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed. Over to you at 26 here.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Benjamin Morris here from Notre Dame.
Oh.
So sorry.
Yep.
He's a true junior. He's probably going to be pretty good. They whiffed on Emmanuel Forbes a couple years ago, but I think Benjamin Morris is just a more solid prospect.
Yeah, Benjamin Morrison is a guy who's had more interceptions in his college career than touchdowns given up. So he does have the hip injury that ended his season, but I think that realistically he's going to be a great corner in the NFL. He's got good size to him, right? At 6 foot 190, he's not a huge guy, but he's big enough. He's not undersized, and he's just got great instincts, and he shows that all the time with his ability to pick the quarterback off. So I'm here on the clock here with the Ravens. I'm gonna go Wyatt Milam here. I think he's gonna shift into guard. He's not gonna play tackle. I think he's gonna shift into guard. But I like this pick for the Ravens. Obviously, to lose Zeitler last year, I think that the offensive line is one that you need to. It's getting older, but I like Wyatt Milam here. I like him coming out of West Virginia, and I just realistically I like the situation that he's going to come into here with the Baltimore Ravens.
I love it. No, I love that for them. Just to have the flexibility of a guard or a tackle, I think it just helps any team, but especially the Ravens, just with, I mean, with the O-line injuries that they've had in the past, maybe not this year, but in the past, like it's always good for somebody to be able to play both.
Yeah.
So here I'm going to go something a little scandalous here. We don't usually see two running backs in the first round. Omarion Hampton is that good. I think there's a chance he goes at the end of the first. I really do.
I think there's a chance that Caleb Johnson also does.
I think somebody's going to fall in love with these guys at the end, like these good teams. Like if I'm the Chiefs, I really think, because remember when they took CEH over Jonathan Taylor? Like I really think like there's going to be one of these teams that falls in love with one of these guys and they just take him.
Well, I think what Jahmyr Gibbs has done for the Lions and the duo of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to allow a team like Kansas City, like Minnesota, even like maybe and probably not the Eagles, right? But even like Buffalo possibly to be like, we'll run a 2 running back approach and have a guy that if David Montgomery gets hurt, Jahmyr Gibbs can still go win you games. We would like to have the ability for, if James Cook goes down, to still have a rushing attack. Now, I don't think the Bills are going to do that here, but I just think that drafting a second running back in RB2 in the late first round for these teams that are already good with no absolute glaring needs, I agree with you. I think it'll be a lot more common here. I'm going to go with the Bills here. I'm going to go defensive interior, and I'm going to have to scroll for a little bit for him. It's Derek Harmon. Derek Carmen is a guy that is very, very quick. He is 6'5", 310, does not move like he's 6'5", 310. This is a guy that I would expect to move up these rankings pretty consistently. Obviously he was, I don't know what he was there when I clicked on him, but he's down there in PFF rankings. He's going to steadily rise until the draft, especially after the combine. He's going to perform well at the combine. He can really get after the passer. He's just very disruptive as a defensive lineman, and he's played against spectacular talent all year. So I really like Derek Harmon here for this Bills team. He allows you to shut down the run, and he really allows you to get some pressure through the middle, right? Maybe he's not going to produce sacks like defensive tackles typically don't, unless your name's Aaron Donald. But I think Derek Harmon is going to be very disruptive in the NFL, and that's what you're looking for in a defensive lineman.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that pick. I actually might have taken him with the 32nd pick if he was there.
But if you would have told me that, I would have left him there.
Yeah, exactly. So with the 30th pick, I'm going to take Shamar Stewart here from Texas A&M. I think this is probably his like bottoming out at pick 30. I think he could go higher for sure. Just depends on the combine. He can play, not true like D tackle, but he can play a little bit inside. He weighs about 290. So he's an edge rusher, but he's a little bit bigger of an edge rusher is kind of what I'm saying. He has a little bit of versatility. So I think he is definitely a first round pick.
Yeah, no, I like Shamar Stewart a lot. Here with the Chiefs here, I'm going to go with a very unique one. I'm drafting Caleb Johnson. And I think that the offensive tackle situation we just talked about in our playoff picture one, so make sure to go check that out. But with the offensive tackle is the biggest need here. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to solve that through free agency and maybe not through the 31st best player in the draft. And I think that if you try to reach for a tackle, which I'm not saying like Ariante Ursary is a reach, I just think that there's not true offensive tackles this year that I can say, yes, I trust you to go onto Patrick Mahomes' blind side and protect him. There's nobody here that I do. So I say maybe go try to find somebody that you've seen them do it at the NFL level, and then get somebody like Caleb Johnson, who is his game. He's physical enough. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs in the 4.3s. He's a great running back prospect. His game's going to translate to the NFL, and then go get somebody who you've already seen their game perform in the NFL at the offensive tackle position.
Yeah, no, I love if Caleb Johnson went to the Chiefs, it would stink for the NFL. I'm just like the other now. And what would really stink is if they got him with their second round pick. That would really stink.
Yes, I would agree.
But so Lions here, I'm actually going to go with somebody who I don't know if you'd think. I'm going to go Jack Sawyer here from Ohio State. Just looking at his PFF profile, 32 hurries this year, basically all at outside end, 90.2 PFF grade. I really like Jack Sawyer as a prospect because he's not like 235. He's 6'5", 260. He's probably going to test pretty well at the combine. So I don't know. I just really like that pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love Jack Sawyer. I would love him or JTT for the Lions here. We obviously need help off the edge. Next year we'll have Zadarius Smith and Hutch on contract, but Zadarius Smith next year's his last year, and he's like 33.
With Jack Sawyer, you guys might have like a little I'm trying to Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship type of relationship there with
Hutchinson Sawyer,
with Hutchinson and Sawyer on the edge.
Yeah, and maybe a little probably a bet on the Ohio State Michigan game every year too, I'd bet.
Yeah.
But either way, this is our first round mock draft here of 2025. We will have weekly mock draft Mondays coming out every single Monday between now and the NFL draft. So other than that, though, this has been the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Puts it